Alright guys, welcome, I am VCQ, and I'm going to be finishing Pokemon Blue Kaizo. I mean, I kind of already did finish it last year, but when I was going through all these recordings, I was like, hang on, where's the last one? And I don't have it. So, we're just going to quickly go and backtrack through what would be Cerulean Cave. And have a look at what I remember to be there. I don't know if I can still verse old mate. Oh, and just, yeah. So you can see I did end up getting the Mewtwo. However, even though it's got really dope stats, you actually fight it at level 255. And it is a monster. It just wrecks everything. Do I want Mewtwo? No, I do not. So you can actually get the special birds. I have not pumped them up full of any drugs though. So you can probably add another 40 to all their stats. Please tell me it's in one of these boxes. Jynx, definitely need you. Tauros would be a beast if I gave it a good moveset. Actually, no, that's pretty much good enough. See, the speed, if I add some Carbos and some protein, that thing will just hit hard. What am I looking for though? Not Venusaur, probably Charizard. Well, you could probably say Rhydon would be alright. Charizard doesn't really need help here. Okay, let's change. Let's look for Rhydon. Waterfall and Slash would be good. Let's grab here. Okay, we'll heal everyone up. Pretty much the same team I took before, except replace Rhydon with Charizard. Okay. Okay, that'll do. Probably shouldn't speed up. That's alright. Okay, so once you beat the Elite Four, this guy buggers off. And Sinister Hooded Figure is cheeky. Still got the Master Ball. Where are my max repel? Oh, I didn't buy them. How many repels have I got? 21, that'll do. Not great. So what happens is, you go through the cave here, looking for the bike. And normally you'd see something like a Clefairy, or what are the other ones, like a Voltorb or something like that. Oh, this cave is crazy. There's pretty much all your big Pokemon here, Dragonite, Alakazam, Jynx, etc, etc. Now that you've beaten the game, Sinister Hooded Figure's like, yeah, they can have all those Pokemon. So anyway, you find all of these different, what you think are Pokemon, but they're actually items. So you go to talk to the Clefairy, it's not a trainer, it's like a nugget. Or you talk to another one, and it's like a super potion or something like that. So then you get to this floor, and if you pick... You think, oh, there's two of these, but hang on, what? I can pass through this one. Why? So then you go to this one, and you realize, oh, I'm back on the starting floor. And then you realize that every other wrong ladder you take takes you back to this floor. So you're like, alright, okay. I get the drill now. So it's another little puzzle. I don't remember what all the items are, but I did remember I spent some time in this cave catching pretty much anything I had to catch. And this took me a while. What was the way to do this one? I think it was this way. Yeah, you go through that one, and then you leave that one alone. You don't touch that one, you go this way. There's your Jynx. Wasn't lying, I promise. And then we hit Repel. And that one's a trap one. You don't take that one. I think it's this last one. Yeah. So once you get that, you get back up on the first floor. And then you get into this mansion, where, again, you've got all sorts of weird and wacky Pokemon. And this is where you find the 3 birds. Let's do some surfing. That was annoying. There are a couple of cheeky items in here as well. I don't remember exactly what ones they are. And you're sort of just surfing through everywhere. Now, from memory... So, one of the birds was here, right up at the back. So you go... There you go, a bit more to the right. Then you go all the way up the top there. And right tucked in that corner over there, I think was Moltres. I think that's the first one you encounter, but I could be wrong. It's one of the 3 birds. So then you're like, alright, cool. I got one of them. From memory, I go right. So this one's to the second bird. And the second bird is somewhere in there. I think it's Articuno, and I think Zapdos is last. But don't quote me on it. So anyway, you end up going to the right. Here, and the last bird is up there. So you go double up here. Take your right. Could teach Zapdos fly, but I won't. Zapdos. Zapdas. And the third bird is wedged in that little, yeah, it would be in that corner there. And there would be the third bird. So once you've gone through all of them, you're like, oh, okay, there's a lot of cool Pokemon here. It still keeps going. It's not that big. Bed that you can't rest in. What am I looking? Oh, I'm looking for surf. Excusez-moi. And then, once you come back to here, the only other place is left. So you go take your left. And there it is. Now, I don't actually know if I'll still be able to beat this. You come against... We've seen this figure before, back in... I don't know whether it was 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12, one of those episodes. And you're like, what the hell is this thing? Is it an item? So then you'll go in to check it out. I'm just trying to think what's going to work here best. How did I open? I think we'll open with slowbro. Oh no, we won't. We won't open with slowbro. We'll open with zap. Oh no, I've already beaten it. Okay. So I'll show you a separate one. I could open the save file, but it puts my name up on the screen from the computer settings, so I'll do a separate vid for that. You'll end up entering this cave. We'll activate one more repel, because that's all we'll need. And again, there's a couple of items and a couple of... Is it Pokémon? I don't recall. I think it's actually, yeah, not that one. Snorlax, not bad. I think here is also the only place you can get a Tauros, but it's a very rare... I think it's like a... For me, it was probably like a less than 5% chance of finding one in this cave. And coincidentally, that was one of the last Pokemon I had to find. So yeah, and then once you get all the way here, you end up taking on Mewtwo here, and Mewtwo is tough. Like I said before, it's on level 255. I think it has Nightshade, Seismic Toss, Psychic, and Body Slam. And obviously Nightshade and Seismic Toss do 255. So any of these Pokemon in 2 hits would get the stuffing knocked out of them. So it's suggested to bring in Slowbro or a Jynx, and preferably like a Zapdos. Any of these Pokemon will be able to survive. Well, these two will be able to survive a Psychic. Jynx can freeze if you want to try and get a lucky, what is it, 1 in 10% chance. You can put it to sleep at the start as well, and then go to town on it. The fact that it doesn't have recover helps. Slowbro, because it's a Psychic type, and when you use Amnesia, its special doubles. So it becomes very, very resistant to at least Psychic. And then Zapdos for at least tanking a hit, and then you can just put your thunderwave on. So that would be this mansion. And there you go, there's the whole Pokédex. Except for Mew, and I've got no idea where to find Mew. Although Sinister Hooded Figure reckons you can find it in-game. But after checking pretty much everywhere, wow, it's got to be almost everywhere. Like, I even got, like a little mod that allows me to go outside the walls and trying to find it in a secret area. It doesn't seem to be... Let's go back here. It doesn't seem to be at the plateau. Doesn't seem to be at Trade Corp or where the power plant would be. I don't think you can access that. It doesn't seem to be in Pagado Town where you'd think the train would open up after you beat the Elite Four. No, it doesn't do that. It doesn't seem to be in Mount Doom. Bill doesn't seem to have it, and it's not in SSN either. Even though you can get into that area behind the ship and surf around, it doesn't seem to be under the truck or anything like that. Not in Pokemon Tower, and I think that's pretty much all the main points of interest. Yeah, it's not in the Pokemon Mansion, so I literally have no idea. I've even gone back to, where was it? The department store? Here in Donyoku City. You get the little certificate saying you've done most of the Pokédex or whatever, but you don't get the Mew. So I don't know where Mew is hiding in this game. If you do happen to know its whereabouts, let me know. Complete the Pokédex. We'll show you. show you where it is. But yeah, that is Pokemon Blue Kaizo in almost its entirety. It was pretty... I think it would be pretty challenging for most people. You don't necessarily need to understand all of the mechanics for Gen 1, but there are a fair few differences from, obviously, the first gen to the later gens in regards to things like how Wrap works or Fire Spin works. You need to have a base knowledge of what Pokemon would be quick. So, your Electrode, your Dugtrio, those two are going to be outspeeding most of your Pokemon. And you want speedy Pokemon because when you hit those higher levels of 120, 121, all the way to 127, those Pokemon will still be able to outspeed quite a fair few. They'll be able to get off your critical hit, well, not critical hits, but they'll be able to get off your critical moves such that you can take out a strong, tough opponent Pokemon like Aerodactyl. So, you know, things like that you need to know. And then it seemed to progress pretty well through the levels at the start until it hit the second gym, and then it just went straight to level 100. And then I was like, it's got to just all be rare candies. But it sort of makes it easy in a sense because you're less worried about leveling up and team getting your team all consistent. The rare candies just get you straight there, and then you sort of just are trying to assemble different Pokemon for different purposes. Like, for example, Rhydon in this case, very good health, very good attack and defense, pretty slow, but it's special if it ever gets hit with a water move or solar beam. It's a goner. It does have, however, a fantastic moveset. Perhaps without Double Edge, you could change that for something else. Even Headbutt would be okay, because it can cause flinching if the opponent would be slower, but, you know, Earthquake, Rock Slide, fantastic with a high base attack and a high health pool for it to be able to live. Jynx, you can see Jynx as your sweeper. Speed, Special, Ice, Psychic, and Blizzard. Perfect moves at the end of the game that you get access to. So, okay, Jynx is out. Slowbro, though, you could access before the Elite Four. I think Slowbro is pretty good Pokemon. Amnesia, like I said, doubles your special stat. It's not, I think the first time you raise one of your stats, it's 1.5 times the value of the stat, and then Amnesia takes it up 2 levels, so I think that's double. I could be wrong, but if you're doubling your speed stat, well, doubling your special stat, what's that? Roughly 454 is nothing to sneeze at. And then when you put Surf and Psychic on top of that, fantastic. You could easily get rid of Disable, swap it out for something else. Dugtrio is a quick little bugger. Add in Dig, Earthquake, and Rock Slide, and you've got a decent Pokemon that's able to hit a lot of different typings and do some serious damage. Dig is there just in case you want to get out of caves while you're traveling around. So you start to see Pokemon more like as what can they do? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Aerodactyl, for instance, again, strong base stat, base attack stat, and base speed stat. And again, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Fly hits a lot of typings either for neutral or for super effective damage. And that's the sort of thing that you need when you're coming up against the Elite Four. Okay, so stuff like that. Like Rhydon's your pretty heavy tank, Slowbro's your special sweeper, Dugtrio gets in, you know, things in front of Gengar, Persian, Jolteon, things that can be a real, well, menace later on, and then obviously Aerodactyl just hits everything for 6, assuming it gets it's not paralyzed and stuff like that. So, very, very well done, I think, by Sinister Hooded Figure, so thanks for that. And then, there might be an opportunity in the future for someone to tweak it, little bits and pieces here and there, but on the whole, I think it was very well done. Alright, any questions, queries, or comments, please let me know in the comment section down below, and as always, thanks for watching.